Hi everyone, it's Dutch Reefer here and welcome to a new Reef Keeping 101 video. Today's video will be focused on the well-being of the fish in this tank. Some updates, some thoughts I want to share with you. Just more of an overall, looking back over the past couple of weeks. I haven't posted a new video in a few weeks. So I thought it would be nice to give you an update. Not a lot has changed. I've been trying to get some stability back in this tank. Well, that's something you've heard me say over and over for the past year, I guess. But it looks like it's slowly coming together. I think one of the main reasons that my tank has been unstable for so long is one of the factors contributing was that there was a lot of sand in this tank, and when I migrated this tank, I took a lot of the old sand from my previous tank, which is, well, the opinions differ on if that's a smart thing to do or not. But another thing that I did is, because my previous tank was a lot smaller, I also took the sand of the previous owner of this tank, who had the tank up and running in his living room for a couple of years, I guess 4 to 5 years. So the sand that I took with me was a mixture of both 2-year-old sand and 5-year-old sand mixed together without really cleaning it very much. And I didn't think a lot of it for quite a while. I've had it in there for about a year and a half, and someone, I think I read it somewhere online, someone said, maybe you should look into your sand, and maybe that's one of the causes of your your instability that won't go away. Because of course, if there's a lot of detritus in the sand, a lot of nitrates and phosphates, unprocessed dirt basically, then it will just release more and more of that over time, and the health of your tank will decrease over time as well. So that was a good point. And up to now I've already removed quite a lot of sand from the tank. Now on this side you won't notice it that much. There's still quite a lot left if you look at it. The layer is a lot thinner though. It was, I think, 3 or 4 centimeters thick before, and now there's even spots, as you can see, where there's not a lot of sand left. Then again, of course, the sand sifting gobies will still gobble up a lot of it and drop it in various places, as you can see right here as well. So there's quite a bit here, and then there's a complete spot where there's no sand at all. And that's mainly, of course, also due to the some of the power heads that are running, which will remove some of it over time, but mainly the sand sifting gobies. So as you can see, there's a little bit more here, but it does look like the cyano that I had in my tank before is slowly disappearing. Of course, there is still some left, but most of it is gone. And also I did reduce or change my carbon dosing a bit. So while I was experimenting with various sources of carbon, I've now brought it down to a mix of plain vinegar, about 60%, and then 40% of 80 proof vodka. So that's vodka with 40% alcohol. And that mixture seems to work really well. So I just buy 2 liters of vodka, 3 liters of vinegar, mix it together, and I dose about 50 milliliters of that each day. The reason I went back to that is that I did this before in my previous tank, the Red Sea Reefer 525, and if you guys might still remember, that was one of the most beautiful tanks that I ever had, at least. And yeah, I still look back on that tank as being one of the best tanks the best looking scapes that I created, and the best looking colors that I combined in that tank. So that's still something to strive towards. Still, I'm very glad that the stability is returning in this tank. Of course, it's nice to have beautiful fish, but when they're swimming inside a rocky landscape without much color, then something is definitely missing. So I'm always looking for trying to create a combination of those two, both beautiful fish and beautiful corals. The fish are there, so no complaints there, no changes either. So I still have the same fish that I had weeks ago or months ago. The last two additions were the convict tang and the Kuo-yi parrotfish. And that's it for now. I'm not looking to add any more fish either. The fish are settled in. I'm glad they're doing fine together. They have a lot of swimming space, as you can see. The tank is 2 meters long, about 90 centimeters wide. So as you can see, it's pretty wide. So they have a lot of swimming space, both horizontal as well as depth. And the height is about 70 centimeters. So there's ample swimming space for all these beautiful fish. Of course, I could still use some more corals, but still, I think the colors are there, some of them at least. So it's more of creating more color density, so having more beautiful colored corals closer together instead of just a coral here and there, which look nice, of course. So there's some zoanthus here, there's some Ricordea, there's some beautiful soft corals, as you can see right here. There's some Discosoma, which really stand out, which were in my nano tank previously. There's bright green star polyp. The basics are there. It's just still a bit rocky to my taste. So it's time to start rebuilding this tank. I will be focusing on that for the coming months. So I hope that around summer I'll have some more beautiful colored corals in this tank. Because it's still the main display tank that I like to watch when I'm either having a day off or when I'm at work, just having a quick peek at the fish life next to my desk, which is nice, right beside me. So yeah, the fish. It was a very long intro. I suddenly realized, but I hope you'll forgive me. Maybe you've skipped ahead and jumped straight into the fish part. This is a small bit about the fish. So the tangs are still doing really well. They're very hungry. It's actually already feeding time at the moment, so it's about 7 p.m. right now, around the time that I feed. So they're anxiously waiting for me to drop some food in there. But the fish are doing well. This Deschardini tang is one that I really like. It's getting really nice and fat. I've had it for about 8 months now, and it's definitely one of those tangs that is you see it a lot, and I think people don't appreciate it that much because it's quite common. But if you look at the complexity of this fish and the beauty, and it's so friendly, it's such a nice fish to keep, and I think it's really underappreciated. For example, when you compare it to a regular yellow tang, which in my eyes are pretty normal, even though they're bloody expensive at the moment. This Deschardini tang, and I think the same goes for the Veliferum, are beautiful fish. They have beautiful drawings on their bodies. Very unique fish that I really like to keep and to watch, to see inside the reef tank. Another nice update is that the clownfish have actually started hosting the anemones in my tank. So if you look through here, you can see that they are both very into the white anemone that's in the back right there. The smaller one is always inside this small anemone, as you can see, and the larger one is still undecided if he wants to join his partner or move into this one. He's also quite regularly hosting this nem right here. The nems are doing well. They're at least very big, so I assume they're doing well. One of them split, so I had 2 and now I have 3, which is quite common for these things to do, or these creatures, these inverts. And yeah, Mr. Clownfish is, or Mrs. Clownfish, I'm not sure, is floating around and yeah, switching and hopping between the white anemone and the red one right here. So of course, the copper band, still the king of the fish tank. It had a bit of ick a couple of weeks ago, which is clearing up. People always, or people ask me a lot what to do. My fish has ick, or something else happening with their fish, and they're unsure what to do. They want to add medication, they want to remove the fish. Please, if you have one of your fish or more of your fish that are ill, try to take away the cause. So try to find out what's causing them to be ill, instead of treating them and exposing them to more stress. Ick is one of those things that is expressing itself as a reaction to a stressful event, which might be hostile fish, it might be your water parameters aren't in check, it might be hungry, it might it might not feel safe. So there's a plethora of reasons why it could develop ick. Try to give it as much calmness as possible. Your fish, don't mess around in your tank too much. When one of your fish or more of your fish have ick, try to keep your hands out of your tank for a couple of days, and you will see that in the end, unless they are really sick and there's something really wrong with them, that's of course possible. Most of the times, giving them rest is a very important way of healing them or curing them, because yeah, when they get de-stressed, the ick will disappear as well, most of the times at least. So it's not a disclaimer, that's a little disclaimer that I have to add. Of course, if the fish is really sick, it might still die, but yeah, then there's not much you can do about it. So the spotted drum is also one of those fish that I've covered in a recent video. So I've made quite an extensive video about it recently, so I won't go into it a lot. But this one is growing as well. It's you can see it's maturing when the dorsal fin gets shorter and shorter, and it starts developing more and more dots on its back. And as you can see, the dorsal fin is already pretty short, and it has a lot of dots on its tail and back fins. So that's really nice. I like to see the fish maturing and growing to mature sizes. And this one is doing just that. Often hunting at night and very active around, well, when the sun starts to go down, which is the case right now. So around feeding time, it's still very active, and it only gets more active as the other fish slowly go to sleep and are very calm. That's a nice. It's nice for a change. So when all the fish are really quiet, then the spotted drum is getting active and starts to flow around the tank and looking for food. So yeah, I think I'm going to end the video. We're already at 14 minutes, which is about the longest video that I make. Normally, there's still a lot of fish to cover, but not that many updates that are that interesting to extend the video. So I hope you enjoyed the video this far, and I hope you're staying safe out there. Stay strong. We're almost there, just a couple more months, and then hopefully we'll get out of this terrible pandemic, can get to our local fish stores again, buy some nice corals, and yeah, start enjoying our hobby just that little bit more than right now. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.